Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Hey,
This is Tech Gate Games. We're episode 17.
17 already. Can you believe that?
Yeah, we're flying through them.
That seems like a high number to me.
Oh, it's the highest number. Well,
It's
420 is
not.
the highest number.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Yeah, but it's the second highest number.
Yeah, that adds up, I guess.
Yeah, it's math.
Yeah.
It's-
You're the math expert.
Yeah, I'm
so
the math expert.
Listen, I'll defer to you on this.
It's
17 is the second highest number.
I'm the math expert, and that's math, okay?
All right.
I will
there you
say,
go, people.
I've been having a really hard time talking today. So that should make for a great podcast.
Perfect. It's luckily podcasting is a very visual medium, so you
Yeah.
shouldn't need to talk much.
I tried to say whiskey expert at lunch today like 14 times. I just could not get it out.
A Worski whisper.
I watched a really great YouTube video about this whiskey See?
Wow.
About this
Dude.
See, I fall apart on whiskey expert. I don't know why.
Whiskey expert.
Yeah, I don't know why it was throwing me. But really good video. This girl, Heather Green, she's great. She's so funny.
Really? Cool.
Yeah, she's not even like a YouTube personality. I had to look her up on Twitter afterwards. I'm like, you're great. This is amazing.
Yeah.
But all that aside, let's get down to the show.
All right, let's talk about how do you feel about talking about some video games this week?
I love video games.
Me too.
I love them.
Oh, that's perfect.
Leo, can you tell me about the video games you've been playing this week?
I can. I'll be happy to.
I love it.
So I've been playing a few. I've been playing The Division still a little bit. Sort of on the tail end of that, but I'm still, shooting some foes.
At least we're going to get some resurgence here soon on it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I might check out for a month or two and then check back in. Speaking of, maybe we could talk about this later, but did you hear about this raid that's coming out, I think, tomorrow?
I was excited for the raid.
I'm excited. I was excited, too.
This matchmaking thing,
It's absolutely bonkers.
it's a real
stupid.
bummer.
Who the hell?
You can say fuck.
I know. I was just trying not to as much.
I do the explicit tag on
Who
our
the
podcast.
Has 8 friends that play The Division.
I don't have 8 friends.
Exactly. That's what everyone says. I definitely have 8 friends. Maybe 3 of them play The Division. No, more than that, but not 8.
I mean,
Most of them are people who work here.
Yeah, I have 8 friends if you really count loosely.
And how many of them play The Division?
None of them. Well, 1, 2.
Yeah.
2 of
okay,
them.
so there you go. That's just needs 6 more.
Yeah, I'm a quarter of the way there.
A dozen.
Yeah, I'm a quarter of the way there.
It is weird though. Like, what do you think was the thought? For those of you who don't know, there's an 8-person raid they're putting into the Division 2
tomorrow,
which is exciting.
Which
That
is
sounds
today
cool.
when you hear this.
I'm excited about that idea. It's big. I'm sure it's crazy complicated, and I wonder if there'll be like puzzles or what. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I played Division 1.
I never
and
did.
even based on their I like Division a lot.
Yeah, I
Division
know.
2. And my one beef with that game is that the dungeons, I'll call them, like the strongholds, are very samey.
Yeah.
Even the tidal basin, like the end part, they try and add some mechanics.
Yeah.
But really, it's like shoot the boxes in time.
Yeah.
As they're like, we added some stuff, shoot the boxes. And, which is fine. But I'm very concerned that the raid is going to be like, here's a room. Can you shoot the boxes in here? You got to shoot the box. You know what I mean?
Hey, how would you feel about shooting some boxes in
I
this
feel
one?
like that's what you're going to hit. But the raid comes out tomorrow. It's an 8-man raid.
Which is cool. Sounds cool.
Trying to take the airport back
Yeah.
from the terrorists or whatever they are.
Yeah. The True Sons.
I don't know who's the actual terrorist in Division 2. You might be, because you kill a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. Who's the real monster?
You don't know who the good guys are. True Sons may be right.
And it's funny, too, because you just trust in everyone who talks to you. Like, who the hell are these people? The president, I guess, but man, I don't know.
He seems scummy.
Yeah, and he, as soon as you get him, he picks up a gun and starts shooting people. Like, is he to be trusted?
He does this speech, once you bring him back to the White House, where he's like, we got to do some stuff that people won't know about.
We got to get some more guns.
Do some dirty deeds. And you're like, what are you talking? I should kill you right now.
I feel like I'm going to defect to... That's funny because you hear about all the JTF people who defected. Mm-hmm. This is probably why.
Yeah, they probably saw the writing on the wall.
And they were probably like, damn. But anyway.
They didn't know
here's the thing.
They didn't know you were coming. That's why.
There's no matchmaking for this 8-person raid.
No matchmaking.
Meaning that you have to know... you have to have a group of 8 people to go in with. Mm-hmm. Which means you can't just go in and solo with and then match with 7 random people, right? Which is what you can do in the rest of the game.
Yeah. You got to find a squad of people
So that means I guess you have to go on Reddit and be like, hey, who wants to squad it? But at that point, aren't you just matchmaking for yourself?
That's what I mean. Like in Destiny, they did this, which spawned a site called Destiny LFG, which was basically matchmaking. You would post, I am LFG, and then someone would invite you in game.
So they're basically outsourcing the matchmaking to
Yeah, it doesn't like I the logic behind it I get, right?
What is it? Yeah, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it.
They want to tune the content to require teamwork, right?
Okay, yeah.
And if people just matchmake in, some people won't they won't get on board, right? Like they'll matchmake in and just want to see the stuff and won't really listen, or they'll just kind of want to do their own thing in the raid. And I assume they want to have content in there that's going to require all 8 people to engage in a specific thing at a specific time, right? 4 people got to be shooting this while 4 people defend them, or you know what I mean? 2 people got to hit the switch at the same time while the rest of the group does something else. They want to be able to kind of tune to that content with the ideal that everyone here is kind of on the same page and trying to do this together, where a lot of times in matchmaking, and I know you've probably seen it in Strongholds even, sometimes there's some dude just AFK at spawn.
Yeah.
Right. Which it stinks, but it happens a lot, Destiny's the same thing. The problem is you really are just, people are still going to matchmake, right?
Yeah.
They're going to use Discord to do it. They're going to use an LFG site to do it. And you're going to run in, people are still going to suffer the same problems. They're just going to suffer them after using third-party tools to try and accomplish what you should have accomplished.
Yeah, I guess that's the part that kind of bugs me is like, someone's not going to magically have 7 people they know. They have to go out and find them.
Yeah.
And one of the things I like about the Division is you really can solo it.
Yeah, I like that too.
It maybe is not the way it's designed, but the fact you can is cool. And I think a lot of people do that.
Even into the Strongholds, if you really take your time.
Totally. I played almost all of it with someone else, but I did some of it solo, and it was awesome. It was a lot harder, but I totally did it, and it was very satisfying in a different way.
I soloed almost the entire game.
Yeah, exactly. And that's cool that you can.
I had a friend jump in when I was in World Tier 2 and help me just grind the last couple of weird world tiers real fast. Yeah. But other than that, I played the entire thing solo.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I get the logic. I do think it's crummy. I think, the solution, I think, is to put in tools when you matchmake to flag people as I don't want to play with this person.
Yeah, people deal with this all the time.
To have majority vote kicks so you can bring someone new in. I think what really happens, and this is also an issue with their party design, and this happens in Strongholds too, is people will run you to the end and then kick you out and invite their clanmates.
Oh, that's lame.
Yeah, it's super lame, but it happens, right?
Oh, that sucks.
There's ways to lock people out of that. That's what I mean. There's smart ways you can manage. So
shitty.
Yeah, there's smart ways to manage groups to stop that kind of behavior.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're just not willing to implement those things.
Yeah, this is why I hardly ever play multiplayer games. Yeah. For stuff like that, it just makes me so angry. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
Just be cool, man.
Yeah.
But anyway.
People aren't cool.
So most
people are cool, I should say that.
Yeah, for sure. Most people are. So I've been playing the Division.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to try that raid somehow or another. We'll get on Discord together.
We'll get in there. Don't worry.
We'll get in there. We'll let you know.
I'll find some randos.
And then we'll kick them right when we're done and bring in our squad mates.
Yeah.
And bring in our listeners.
Bring in a friend.
Yeah, just one.
If I can find one.
So I've been playing that. What I really want to talk about, though, is this game you've probably been hearing about. It's been blowing up. It's called A Plague Tale.
I thought I could say Mordhau, because that's the game I've been hearing about.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that, too. So this game, you know about this game? That's what people kind of call it.
The rat. I know I've seen the picture. I saw you post it too.
Mm-hmm.
It was a girl with all the rats.
Yeah.
I've seen that kind of floating around.
Yeah.
It's gross.
It is gross if you don't like rats.
Lots of kids.
Yeah. So
kind of creepy.
The basic premise of this game, and it's very cool. It was sort of came from this development house called Asabo, something like that. They're French. And they were making a lot of random games, like licensed games. And, this is their first real big IP. And we saw it at E3 last year, and it was like, that was cool. The premise is basically you're this young girl and her little brother, and there are some other characters that come in and out, and you're trying to survive in 13th century France during the plague. But this ain't like the real plague. This is like the kind of plague that turned all the rats into horrible monsters that basically there's so many, and they're in all the shadows, and they'll just absolutely consume you or anything else that it touches. So it's kind of a cool thing. It's almost like Splinter Cell, except the opposite. You have to stay out of the shadows. Otherwise, you get eaten by all these rats. And it's essentially a survival game, and there's puzzles, and it's also a stealth game because you're hiding from scary adults. But what's really fun about it is that you can use the rats to get through the environment. For example, if someone's holding a torch, you just knock out their torch, and all of a sudden the rats will eat them, and you can get past.
Ooh.
So it's an interesting balance of stealth and survival and puzzle solving.
I thought you'd be like the rat queen. You'd fiddle and call on your rat friends to.
I mean, well, without getting any spoilers, it's not as simple as that through the whole game. A lot of stuff does happen. You
rat queen.
You get upgrades, there's crafting and stuff. But what's really fascinating about it to me and what I wanted to talk about, not so much the gameplay, which is pretty middle of the road, like stealth games, which I know you love. He doesn't love them.
I love them.
Stealth games single-handedly killed Warframe for Tony.
Dude. Why you gotta bring up the old wounds?
But anyway, it's a fun game. It's well made, but what's crazy about it is how beautiful it is. It's beautiful looking.
Yeah, it looks great.
But more than that, the level design is extraordinary. The attention to detail in the environments is really beautiful. And it is also very, very dark. Literally, like visually, but also the subject matter is very grim. And there's a lot of like kids being hurt and stuff like that. So I think for a lot of people, they would have a lot of trouble with the subject matter. I don't think it's excessive or gratuitous, but it is extremely violent and very disturbing in a lot of ways. So that's something to keep in mind. It's not like a fun puzzle game. Just because there's kids in it does not make it a kid's game.
I feel like we've crossed a line into child murder lately.
Well, we're not quite there. And I was actually curious how they'd address that. Because, there's very few games where you can kill kids or watch kids die.
Because that zombie, the game everyone was talking about last week, the Sony game, the PlayStation game.
Days Gone?
Days Gone has zombie children.
Oh, and you can shoot them.
Yeah, and you can like chop their heads off.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. But, I mean,
children are people too. They deserve representation in games.
I agree. If we're going
to be able to murder people. All right. Anyway, that's a different subject.
Yikes.
The point is, yeah, exactly.
I'm going to put a mark on this one for the edit.
The point is, it's a really beautifully told game. And one thing I like about it is it's almost the anti-AAA game in that it is so simple. I don't mean that in a negative way, but it's so like stripped down. It's a single player experience, maybe 10, 12 hours, and that's it. There's no multiplayer. There's no dialogue trees. You can kind of upgrade a little bit. There's like some random stuff to find, but overall, it's a single player experience. You go through it once. It's a really touching tale. It's awesome. I highly recommend it to anyone who likes single player games.
What I want to know is what can you get out of the loot boxes?
Yeah, exactly. So that's what's cool. There's no connectivity. It's nothing. It's super simple, single player, narrative driven game, and I love that. And you don't see as much of that as you used to. And especially from a smaller studio that looks like a AAA game, it was very refreshing. So I highly recommend it as long as you can stomach the subject matter. And also, anyone out there who's afraid of rats, which I'm not, but if you were, I'd be interested to see if playing this game would make that fear worse or maybe better.
Do you know what a rat king is?
I mean, I know it in the context of like Charlie Kelly.
Who's Charlie Kelly?
From It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
And that's when all their tails get stuck together.
Oh, yeah.
From all the sludge and stuff in the sewers.
That's gross.
They form like a giant rat ball.
Yeah.
It's stuck together by their tails.
Yeah.
And it moves as like a mass. Right?
Really gross.
It's called a rat king.
Okay.
Just so you know.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Are there any rat kings in the game?
No, not really. Not like what you described.
Oh, there's other rat kings.
Also, this is not a realistic interpretation of rats, as I think I made clear. And there's like magic and alchemy and stuff, so it's like magical realism.
Can you use cheese to bamboozle the rats?
No, there's no cheese.
No.
I'm sorry. Maybe this isn't the game for you.
No, I was hoping it was a little more Rescue Rangers.
I know.
Is there a cute mechanic girl rat?
No.
Jeez.
I know.
Slipping.
This is not perfect for you.
I might give it a shot, but so far
it is very grim and it's very dark, and but it's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. Anyone who likes puzzle games, stealth games, or just cool narrative experiences, it's worth checking out.
Yeah. Right.
So I played that. I reviewed it. I had a lot of fun with it. That was what I played mostly.
So it's got the big Leo thumbs up.
It does, yeah. I think I gave it like an 8.5. That's how much I liked it.
Dang, that's a high score.
It was cool. I wasn't expecting it to be as polished and like well done as it was.
That's the highest score I've seen in at least 2 weeks.
Really? Well, what's crazy, and always when you're reviewing a game, it's always a little like, you want to be honest, you want to be true to yourself, but there's a part of you that's like, God, it'd be sucky to give a game a hugely high score and everyone else hates it. And that's never happened to me. And even if it did, whatever, I just disagreed. But it was cool when it came out. Almost everyone gave it very similar scores. It's a very high quality game by almost every metric.
It's funny. Everyone talks about like, how are you going to score Dreams? Like, what are you going to do? What criteria are you going to use? And it's like, I don't just play it. Are you having fun?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
also, is it doing what it promised on the box?
Yeah. At some point, we have to trust that we've built a relationship with people, or the people that listen to us or trust us.
Yeah.
And they're going to understand that it's like, this is something I really enjoyed. And And
here's why I enjoyed it.
And here's why I enjoyed it.
Does that sound like you'd enjoy it for those reasons? Cool.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Maybe you will. Maybe you won't. But I really liked it, and that's enough, I think. And I think we searched so hard for justification in our feelings,
Totally.
you know, and so I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right.
I'm glad you found a real winner there for you.
No, it's cool. And it was kind of nice because the opposite of The Division or Final Fantasy 14, which is the other game I've been playing, but we've kind of already talked about that. It was the opposite of that, and then it was very limited experience. Once it's over, you're like, okay, maybe I'll play it again in 5 years, but I'm done. And honestly, it was really kind of refreshing to feel like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's great.
There's something kind of cool about a shorter, condensed experience that's intense, and then it's over.
Yeah, no, I think
it's like watching a movie versus a TV show.
I think that's perfect. Like even like playing Sekiro this year, like, you know, it's similar in that way.
Yeah.
But it's far more AAA.
And it's bigger.
It's very big. But, you know, seeing these very like single player, very, you know, just kind of getting all of it. You know what I mean? Like at time of purchase is so rewarding. It feels so good in a world where you feel like no one's willing to give you that anymore.
And it's funny because it just shows how much times have changed because that used to be all it was, right?
Yeah, it's all games.
There was nothing else.
It's all they could be.
Yeah.
You know? But I think we're seeing a lot of that now, like in comparison, right?
And it shows that it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Sorry, EA or whatever. Like that whole
EA.
No,
worst company ever.
I don't know if you know this, but EA is not that popular. This is going to be a really brave.
Takes.
This is going to be a real brave hot take. I don't much care for EA.
I might have to like splice it a sizzle there because that is
they may have fallen off the wagon a little bit.
That is a hot take.
But it is cool. I think, you know, God of War and Sekiro and all these big games. It's so it makes me very happy that there are still solid single player experiences.
I think it's beautiful.
It is. So yeah, but what I'd like to really know is maybe some of what you've been playing.
Oh, you want to know what I've been playing?
Actually, no.
I think my favorite game of the year.
Oh wow!
Thus far,
heavens!
And surprisingly enough, it's not Rage 2.
Oh yeah,
I did actually play a little Rage 2,
and it's fine.
It's so fine.
Yeah, it's like a perfect example of like a 6.5 or 7, where it's like it's not bad at all.
Yeah, I think I'd give it a 6, and that's only because that's not the kind of game I like. Like I'm not really into Far Cry's or Assassin's Creed.
Point clearing.
Point clearing games have never been my thing. Like I think Breath of the Wild is the only one in recent history that's kind of,
and that one's even that's so pretty different.
It's a very different thing. But I was surprised because the guys gave it like a really low score, and I was like, I don't think it's not bad. You know,
it's not a bad game. It's a well-made game. It's just
the writing's pretty
uninspired.
rough.
Yeah,
the writing felt really rough.
Yeah, it's like trying way too hard. I remember I went to see it with the director, and I went to like an event, and it was cool. But even then, I was like, I hope this comes a long way, and it did not.
The repeated content, I think, just is so dated.
Yeah,
right. Having the same bosses show up over and over again, the same clear the turret events, and this, you know what I mean? Like having those things reappear in the same form over and over and over again. Yeah, like immediately destroys kind of the good graces that the combat builds in that game. You know, like you fight, and you're like, oh, this is pretty cool. The guns seem, you know, it's not my favorite, but it's fun. The shotgun feels good. And then you drive off, and you're like, oh, it's the same
I have to
camp
do that all again.
Like it's the same camp. You know. But the game I really want to talk about, the real apple of my eye, okay,
I'm excited.
Is Mordhau.
Is that how it's pronounced?
Mordhau.
Are you sure about that?
Yes.
Mordhau. Why is it called that?
So a Mordhau is a grip on a sword.
Okay.
Right. So you have your standard grip, but if you fight an armored enemy, you'll flip the blade and hold it by the bladed side to hit the armor with the hilt.
Oh, so you can like dent it.
So you can kind of, you know,
blunt force
them, right?
Interesting.
And that's called a Mordhau grip.
Wow, that's so cool.
They tell you that in the game. In the tutorial, it's like,
hey, push R to
enter Mordhau grip to beat this armored enemy to death.
That's awesome. So I've seen video of it. It looks like a blast, but can you tell me a little bit about like what, because it's very chaotic looking when I've seen it. I've only seen it. It looks fun. I've heard it's great. Can't wait to hear about it, but can you give me like the basic breakdown of it?
Do you like death metal?
I love death metal.
Okay. Put on some death metal, put on your headphones, crank that shit up to like 11. Okay.
Okay.
Launch into Mordhau. I like to use a maul, which is like a sledgehammer.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I like to put some heavy armor on, right? Maybe get a tabard with a skull or something similar.
Yeah.
Okay. I like to spam V, which is the battle cry button, right? And I run into battle screaming, looking for anyone to hit in the face with a sledgehammer.
With said maul.
With said maul. Yeah, I'll use the proper terms. It is a medieval melee combat focused game. There are bows and arrows and crossbows and stuff, and they're very annoying. But the core of the game is medieval weaponry, swords, different styles of swords, great swords, rapiers, two-handers, one-handers, bastard swords, shields, spears, hammers, axes. There's thrown weapons. You can get throwing axes and throwing daggers. There's fire bombs, some traps and stuff that you can also get. But it's all very medieval. And it's kind of got this directional based like timing and swinging system, right? So there's a little tiny circle like cursor in the middle of your screen, and whichever direction you last push with the mouse. So even when you're running around, it'll kind of point a little arrow that way.
Oh, interesting.
And that's kind of how your body weight's shifting.
Oh, wow.
Right? So if the last direction you push is right, and then you click your mouse, your swing will come from the right.
Oh, wow.
Right? If it was left, your swing will come from the left. So when you get into these 1v1 situations, you kind of read the opponent based on the way their body's shifting, right? They'll look to the right. So you're like, okay, it's going to come in from the right.
Yeah.
And so you can parry those attacks from the right. You can do a thing called chambering, which is if you attack from the same direction just before their attack lands, you'll kind of intercept on the inside with an attack.
Wow.
Right? You can feint, so you can attack and then pull out of that attack. You can, what they call a morph attack, so attack and then shift into a different attack. So there's a very a very deep combat system. Not all of it you have to engage with. There's definitely weapons that are, you can just use a long spear and focus on kind of keeping range and using stabbing attacks, right?
Poking.
You can get like a great sword and be like, I'm just swinging this thing chopping wide, right? So I'm right and swing, right? I'm going to get this thing spinning around. And for the most part, if you matchmake, you're on 64-man servers.
So is that how it works? Is
32
it like,
v32,
okay.
Right? So a lot of what those game types are, and it plays a lot like kind of like Battlefield, like 5 points,
right?
Or like 3 points, then push a card up to a castle door, the cart's going to break the door. And so a lot of that turns into like pulling people into bad engagements, not letting enemies get behind you, having shielded people in front to kind of draw in attacks and then kind of coming in when people have attacked, so that's much more of like,
it's like a meta game kind of.
It's more meta. It's not as nuanced in the combat, right?
Yeah.
But then again, there's dedicated servers. So there's like Los Angeles 1v1s, right? And you jump in and there's 20 people in there and they stand and you look to them and you give them a bow and then you fight. Right?
That sounds cool.
Yeah, it's very. I mean, I think Chivalry was similar. So I think Chivalry had similar rules.
Yeah, I never played Chivalry,
but it's. I've heard this game was made by like former Chivalry pros. I didn't really look into it.
What a bizarrely specific set of like skills. I mean, it's awesome, but it's just funny.
It's great.
What kind of games do you make? Almost exclusively single, like first-person medieval action game.
This was a one-man Kickstarter initially.
Oh wow!
And now it's like a 10-man team, but it's very small. It's gory, but it's the level of gore that is just enough to feel viscerally real. You know what I mean? Like a lot of games, the gore is so over the top that it's comedic in a way.
Yeah.
This game, like, you get like you're running up on someone, they don't see you, and you swing that hammer and catch them in the head, and their body whoops around in a way that is both disgusting and
satisfying.
Like it fills you with a level of glee that is disgusting, right? I talked about this a little bit on the non-gaming show, so I'm sorry if I repeat a lot of those thoughts, but I really wanted to talk about it here.
Yeah.
But and a lot of what I talked about on that show was the kind of the psychology of like, I'm like a very non-violent person, right? Like I don't like gore, I don't like horror.
Yeah.
I would have a very hard time like hurting someone. Like I've gotten in a few fights in my lifetime, and it always kind of grosses me out and hurts my stomach to even like think about. Like, I'm not that guy.
So you wouldn't want to run up to someone and hit him with a giant hammer?
I wouldn't want to run up to someone and hit him with a stick. You know what I mean? Like, like I just am not that person who wants to inflict any of that on someone or even
that's good.
Even feel the feeling of it kind of grosses me out, right? But for some reason, man, like running up on someone and having them go high and then you go low and just chop their legs out from under them, it feels great. And you see their legs come off, it's great.
Do you think, just as a thought experiment, if this was sort of like what Splatoon is to like shooters, if there was sort of a, not, I don't want to say childish because that implies it's lesser, but if there was like a more aesthetically innocent version of this game, like if it wasn't, I don't know if they were robots or something, if the violence wasn't there, I guess is what I'm asking, but everything else was the same, do you think you'd enjoy it as much?
No.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I think it would lose a lot of its charm.
Yeah.
Right?
Interesting.
I mean, I think one of the funnest things in this game is doing your war cry and then having your teammates around you also start war crying because they heard you do it. If it's got like a trillion different voice lines in it.
What do the war cries sound like?
Yeah, sometimes it's like, ah! Sometimes it's like, charge! Sometimes it's like, follow me!
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes it's like, kill them! Right? Like, it's...
Destroy the enemy!
Yeah, it's just a trillion... It's not a trillion, but it's just tons of things you say. The emotes and stuff are all kind of random. You can set your voice type and your voice tone. So you can like go anywhere from sounding like an orc to sounding like, I feel like they use like Warcraft voices, like orcs versus humans.
Yeah.
Right? Because like sometimes you're like peasant, like, okay, you know, and sometimes you're like,
let's go destroy our foes.
Yeah, and sometimes you're like zog zog, right? Like really, like it's
yeah, that's funny.
It's the full spectrum. You can dress up your character. You can customize the faces and the hair and the color and the scars and the height.
Can you be a man or a woman?
They haven't added male and female or different races yet.
Interesting.
They said they're going to add that kind of stuff, but
is it still in beta?
It's considered released, which I appreciate them not calling it early access. I feel like that's such a cop out that everyone does now, and I really don't enjoy that. But they say they're going to add that stuff. I take them to their word. They've added a lot of patches and have been really good with the community feedback, because a lot of things like people have been complaining about, they've directly fixed, right? Like kicks seemed short, right? Because if someone's holding a shield, you have to kick them to like get the shield knocked up, and you know everyone just felt like the shield. It just doesn't feel easy to kick shields, and boom, they extended the legs, right? Like they made it so shields are easier to kick. Like in a couple days, you know, like it just feels like they really are rolling on this thing and keeping it working. But there's a million different, like, so the way the armor, so the weapons you unlock with gold, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no way to buy gold outside the game. You earn it with money, but you can basically, like, the weapons and weapon types are pretty cheap, like 300 to 500 gold. In a good game, I'll get like 600 gold in a game.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right. So the weapons aren't supposed to be hard to get. It's just supposed to keep you from having them all in the beginning.
Yeah, so you kind of learn them.
You play a few games with the weapon and then get a new one. The armors, so they give you one of each tier of armor for free, right?
Okay.
So like if you want to have heavy armor, you can get a heavy helmet, a heavy chest, and heavy legs on, and you don't have to like buy the stuff with your in-game currency. But then they have like a jillion variations, right? They got 10 different light helmets, 10 different medium helmets, 10 different heavy helmets, right?
Yeah.
So they got, you know, visored ones and helmet ones and an eye patch, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a ton of different stuff. They've got cosmetics up the yin yang, and you buy it all with in-game currency. And it's so fun to dress your dude up. Like last night, I literally made a dude. You know, you have skill points you spend, so different weapons take different amounts of those points.
Right.
So you can't just be like all the armor, best weapons, all the stuff.
Right.
And that never changes. You're always at the same power level. But last night I made a dude and I'm like, I'm going to carry a huge axe. I'm going to wear no shirt. I'm going to wear these fuck me boots, right? Like literally like leather boots that come up to your crotch, right? And an eye patch. And I did. And
then you did your war cry?
And I did my war cry. I ran out there. Didn't do very well. Right? That's not the point. That's not what I was going for.
That's not what it's about.
That's not what it was about. But I look bomb as fuck out there.
Yeah. chopping heads,
cutting down barriers, chopping heads, throwing stuff. I love that you can like. I mean, I'm sorry, we'll have to cut this off pretty soon because I'm going like deep. But I love that you can like every weapon has 2 grips, right? Like I talked about the Mordhau grip, right, on the great sword or whatever, or the Zweinhand or whatever they call it. But like the sledgehammer, right? It's got its normal grip, doesn't have a second grip. If you hit the second grip button, you throw it.
Oh, that sounds fun,
right? So you're fighting and someone backs off and you're just like, whoop, and you just throw that warhammer. Last night I was playing and I'm running at somebody and we're fighting and I kind of back off and he throws an axe at me, sticks in my chest. What do? I grab it out of my chest.
Whoa.
And I throw it back at him, right? Because I could see it. So like if you could see it, you can kind of focus to it, right? And I was like, I wonder if this will work. And I hit E and he's just like, brump, and I just threw it back at him, killed him, murdered him.
Well, how come it didn't kill you?
I had enough health that I could take the
axe in your chest.
In my chest, yeah.
Interesting. So how does it control in terms of, like, you kind of described the combat a little bit, but like how does movement work?
It's an FPS.
Okay.
Or it's a I don't know what you call it, first person
like,
FPM, first person melee.
Like, yeah. Interesting. I'm just trying to imagine what move, like, is it like, obviously it's not as fast as this, but like Mirror's Edge, where you kind of look around like your head's on a swivel?
Yes, it feels more like, I would say Mirror's Edge is actually like a good comparison as far as you're kind of just looking and swiveling like
Interesting.
that. It's not. Yeah, I guess that. It's like a traditional FPS. You kind of have to strafe walk to look to the side while you're going straight, but yeah, that totally works. And there's a battle royale mode.
Oh, cool.
You queue in, you're naked. Well, you got, like shorts and a shirt on. Like medieval shorts and a shirt. Not like
not like basketball shorts.
Not like cargo shorts and a
a tank top.
Yeah. But I don't really love it, but people really like it.
Why don't you love it? It sounds fun.
I like dressing the dude up and picking a custom loadout and like taking my sledgehammer out there and war crying. Landing, looking all lame with your fisticuffs.
Do you drop out of an airplane?
No, you just start, but sometimes you start like really close to people. It's a small map.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you're stuck with a rake or something, right? And someone runs at you with a sword and you're like, oh, this isn't gonna work for me, you know? People like it. I've seen people streaming it a lot, playing the battle royale mode. Not really for me. There's also a horde mode.
Oh, cool.
Which seems
against like the environment,
against NPCs.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Which seems fun. I've tried it once. I was like the first thing I tried. I don't really know how to play the game. I'm a little better now, but I did really badly. But it seems like people like it. But I do like that there's just dedicated servers. You can just hit the server browser, see what's got low ping that people are playing, and jump into a million deathmatch or whatever people want to play.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it's really cool.
How much is it?
$30.
Oh, so yeah, I love that. I love this new wave of like, hey, we don't have to charge $60 for a game.
Yeah, like this.
Not that there's anything wrong with charging $60, but I don't know. It's cool when a game you really want is $30.
Well, and I think what's cool is it's like they can manage your expectations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If this game was $60, like I may not love it. Like I may be a little more critical of the jank. I may think that war crying in a tunnel isn't really that worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at $30, playing it all weekend, I'm like, I don't care if this game deletes itself from Steam today. Like, you know what? Well, I would care, but you know what I mean? Like, I've had so much fun with it that it's like, who cares? Like, I've had enough, and there's still plenty more.
Yeah.
You know?
That sounds fun as I'll have to try it.
It's really fun, super fun. If you want to install it, I'll install it.
Yeah,
I was thinking of installing it in the game room actually, but
maybe we could play some next week.
Hard drive's too small. Oh, maybe we can actually.
It could be my first time. You could teach me. That'd be fun. We could do war cries.
That would be pretty fun. Yeah, we could try it out. Yeah. I want to do something audio so we can talk about, but I want to do that too. Okay.
So have you been playing anything else, or is it mostly Mordhau?
I played League of Legends yesterday.
How are you at League of Legends?
Bad.
Like I know you used to be good.
I've been okay. I was much better at Dota.
Yeah.
Or Dota 2 than League of Legends. I think last season I ended like Silver 1, so that's like in the middle. It's not very good. But I'll be honest, like as far as ranked League of Legends, I never put in enough games to actually like climb.
Yeah.
League of Legends, I feel like has the crummiest ranked system, right? Because you have to play so many games to rank up. And I feel like that is almost the KPI for League of Legends is like,
How much can you tolerate?
Yeah, how long can you tolerate this, right? So like last season I played up to silver 1. It goes now there's other lower divisions, right? But it was bronze, silver, gold,
Right.
diamond, plat, bronze, silver, gold, plat, diamond, and then the masters, right? Or grandmaster, or champion, grandmaster.
Grandmaster's Overwatch, isn't it?
No, I think it's the same.
Oh, it is. Okay.
So I played up to silver 1, which is literally like a game away from gold, right? But I wasn't really, I was like, whatever. Like I wasn't really that into it. I get tired because it takes so many games. So,
so they can be long, right?
They're super long.
Yeah, that sucks.
So this season starts, and the worst part about it is, so each medal has like 5 ranks in that medal. So you can be silver 1, silver 2, silver 3, silver 4, silver 5. Each one of those medals requires you to get 100 basically LP or like league points. And at the end of that 100, you have to do basically like win the 2 out of 3 to advance to the next tier.
Gotcha.
That doesn't earn you league points.
Oh, that's annoying.
Right?
So what if you lose 2 out of 3?
Then you lose those points and you go back down.
So that sucks.
So let's say you average 20 points a game, which is actually a little higher than I think you normally get. But let's say you win, you get 20, you lose, you get 20. So if you're playing perfectly, 100% win rate, that's 5 games to 100, 2 games to win, right? And that'll get you 1 rank.
Yeah.
So going from bronze 5 to silver 5 would take you
here's
35 games.
Yeah, and again,
right?
How long can these games be? They can be long, right?
Yeah.
Not all of them, but
40 minutes, 30 minutes.
That's not
right?
small.
30 games at 40, 35 games at 100% win rate. No one's winning 100% of games.
Yeah.
Right. And so, by doing so, like if you're at a 60% win rate, that's considered really good. Right. So let's double that count. 70 games, maybe. Right. But the problem is, and I think the real stink is, and the real like devious part of their math is, so let's say you win your 5 games and you get to the 2 out of 3, the promotion, they call it, right? So winning doesn't earn you LP, but losing loses you LP.
Oh.
So even at an even win rate, right? If you lose those promos, you've now lost LP in a situation where you couldn't have gained it, right? Yeah. So that, it's such a sinister way to add games into that count, right? To continue to add games.
That sucks.
So fine, the system's not very good, but whatever, it's what you play. I ended last season silver 1. I won 6 out of 8 games in my promos at the beginning of this season. So I'm like, okay, let's see where I rank. Bronze 3.
Wow.
Right? Literally 8 ranks from where I ended, which is 8 times 7.
Yeah.
If I played them perfectly, 48 games.
That's a lot.
Before if I 100% win rated to get to where I was, and I won't. So let's say it's 100 games to get back to where I was, right? I don't want to play 100 games to get back to where I was.
No.
Right? So the frustrating part to me, and I can't believe I'm just saying on the podcast, but it's just so frustrating to me because now it's like, I don't even want to do this.
Yeah, I wouldn't. That sounds like an actual nightmare.
It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare
and
scenario.
For what?
For nothing.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. For nothing. And so, maybe I'm just like, I don't know. Maybe the system's like, yeah, you're just not very good. But it's like, then why do I always get to the same tier, kind of burn out instead of losing out? I just burn out. And then you guys reset me back to the bottom of the stairs at the end of a season.
And then they wonder why you just jump on and start playing Mordhau.
Yeah. And then they wonder why I'm so quick to jump to Mordhau, right? The greatest game of the generation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that true?
It's not true.
Are you sure? Are you sure it's not true?
Listen,
I haven't played it.
It's not true.
But that's okay. I see. Well, that sounds shitty. I don't ever want to play that.
Yeah, so I played some of that. I won.
No, that doesn't seem to matter much.
That's what I mean. That's what's so fucked about it. I won like 2 games last night, and I'm just like, I don't want to do this anymore. Who fucking cares? Like my buddy wanted to play, and I logged in, and he was like eating dinner. So I'm like, I'll just play one, and I won, and I was just like, who fucking cares? Like,
yeah, like if I lost, I'd feel exactly the same way.
Yeah, I know. It's really lame.
That sucks.
I forgot what else we were going to talk about.
No, I was just curious what else you've been playing. So
no, we had another topic, and it's like...
No, it was Mordhau, and then you said League of Legends.
Oh, I know what it was. you were going to talk about Sekiro mods.
Okay, I just had to talk about mods for a second because I saw some absolutely. We should do like a segment called like Mod Check or something.
I love me some mods. Don't get me wrong.
No, for sure. And I should say I haven't even really played Sekiro, but this has just made me laugh so hard. I wanted to hear your thoughts on it. Have you seen any of these Sekiro mods?
I haven't. I heard you talking about them.
They're awesome. There's one where you're a chicken, which is just worth seeing. But one of the coolest ones was you can be 2B from Nier Automata.
Oh, you know I love 2B.
She's dope, and she fits in this perfectly. She can use her big-ass katana. And what's funny is I haven't modded the voice, so it's still Sekiro's voice, which is funny.
It's not Sekiro.
I'm sorry, the wolf.
The wolf, yeah.
I apologize. Again, I haven't really played it.
I mean, his real name might be Sekiro or something.
His real name is, I think so.
I think it is.
Yeah. I did a deep dive on the lore. His real name is...
Sekiro Shadows Die Twice.
It's Hiro Sekiro. Hiro.
Don't.
But anyway, yeah, you can be 2B, which sounds awesome. So
Yeah,
if you needed a reason to pick it up again, there you go.
That does sound good.
Yeah. But I love mods. I was doing some Resident Evil 2 mods. It's great. I was actually learning how to do mods, which I'm excited to explore a little further. I'll keep you guys posted on that. Like actually
mods?
making the mods, huh?
You're going to be a mod creator?
I'm going to try.
Get on the mod scene?
Yeah, I feel like it'd be a cool thing to learn since I use a lot of mods. It'd be fun. But yeah, this whole thing, like replacing Mr. X with Thomas the Tank Engine, it's amazing.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
So good.
I used to love Skyrim mods.
Yeah, Skyrim mods is where everyone got started. Oblivion even before that.
Yeah, Fallout mods too.
Yeah, I remember my Oblivion character had like crazy ass anime hair, like purple cat eyes, and like, yeah, she was dope.
I would always just do some like generic, like change your settings mod.
Yeah.
So I could have unlimited inventory.
Or like a further field of view.
Yeah. I
want to make sure I can distribute the actions over multiple cores.
I just didn't want encumbrance. That was my whole problem. Like,
yeah,
all those games.
No, for sure. Just turn
like,
off the encumbrance.
I never want encumbrance. I know they have console commands for a lot of that stuff, but it was nice to have like an interface for it.
Yeah, mods are fun.
Yeah. And then the nudie ones.
Yeah. I haven't really messed around with those as much.
I got recommended for some reason, and maybe it's because I'm a creep, but this guy that does like nude, like not nude, but like mod reviews for Skyrim, but they're all like these hoochie mods.
Like adult mods?
I mean,
like sex mods or like just weird skins?
Just weird, like weird sexy skins.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's like weird sexy quests and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's
so it's a world.
It's a world, man. Like these things are really well made.
Yeah.
Like crazy well made. Very in-depth long quest lines and stuff that are just like, I don't know, man. People
love fucking.
Live your best life. That's all. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. It's cool, man. It's out there if that's what you're interested in. I think the problem is Skyrim looks so old now. It's hard to imagine it's hard to imagine being legitimately like in any way titillating.
I got one mod where they look old, but I got some mods where they don't look that old.
Not the people.
I got mods where they look very appropriately aged.
Speaking kind of to bring it full circle, there's a mod where you can kill children in Skyrim. And in fact, it's one of the first mods anyone ever made, which I found fascinating.
Yeah, you should be able to, though.
I agree. I mean, I think I installed it just to test to see how it worked. But I just thought it was funny that was one of the quickest mods to come around. People were like, hey, what the hell, man? I want to be able to kill kids.
It's kind of the nature of Skyrim, though.
Yeah, you're supposed to be able to do anything.
Like killing everybody or like mistakenly murdering somebody that's important and then...
Yeah, and then you massacre the whole town.
Yeah, and then you massacre the whole town.
Yeah, that's fun.
Killing all the guards that come with you.
Yeah, like that great meme of like, he saved. Oh, God. He just quick saved. We're all going to die.
Murdering Khajiits.
Yeah.
All day.
God, I love Skyrim.
Skyrim's a really great game.
It's amazing. I play a lot. Such good music.
It's the last good one they made.
That's not true.
What, Fallout 4?
Oh, I don't like Fallout 4 at all.
And nobody does.
That's a lot of people did, but I didn't. I tried to play it not too long ago. I think I told you I spent 3 hours modding it, and then 20 minutes playing it. I was like, fuck this.
I don't think anyone really liked Fallout 4. I think
a lot of people genuinely like
lies. I think people just lie about it.
Why would they lie about that?
Because they like
people
Fallout 3.
People played like 700 hours. You think they're just because they like Fallout 3 is why?
Yeah, they think they're supposed to like it.
That's a weird opinion.
No,
and that's coming from someone who does not like it. It feels like a shallow like expansion pack for Fallout 3.
Yeah,
it doesn't look good. It didn't even look good when it came out.
It's
and the writing is bad.
It's the worst version of what it is, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not Fallout anymore. Like they took out all the things that make Fallout great and left a husk of a game that is the worst open world shooter that exists, right?
You know what's funny? Now that you mentioned that, it almost feels like a different game that someone like skinned Fallout in a mod.
Yeah.
Like it's like it was a different game, and some very talented user created a Fallout skin for a totally different game, and then like tried to write around it.
It might as well be a Skyrim mod.
Yeah, totally. That's what it feels like. It feels like a Skyrim mod. That's like a Skyrim Fallout mod. It's bad.
I just remember there's this. I may have like told this anecdote like on the show before, but you get to this town, and I can't remember what it's even called. Like, but it's like this little circle town by the water, down this road, and you get stopped at like a checkpoint or something. You go in this town, there's this like mystery, right? And I can't remember, but it's like you got to get into the mayor's house, right?
Yeah.
And I'm standing by the door to the mayor's house, and I'm like, here's the door, right? And it's like, no. And it's like, I'll pick the lock. And it's like, no. And it's like, well, why? I'll just break it down. And it's like, no. And I look it up, and it's like, oh, when he comes in, he comes out, you got to sneak in.
You're like, this is not an RPG.
And I was like, that's not Fallout. Like,
No, that's
even
not
an
Fallout.
RPG.
Yeah.
Like, I should be able to hack, talk,
Or just
lie, sneak, or shoot my way
Yeah.
into this situation, because that's what Fallout means.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what all those are. It's the same with Skyrim.
And having this turn into, you
Like
know,
a weird scripted
yeah,
event.
follow the script. Like, do what's scripted, or
Yeah.
this isn't going to work. It's gross.
Yeah, not only that, but it's done badly. Like, it'd be one thing if it was a totally different game, but at least it was good at that. Like, it would still be disappointing. Like, this isn't
Yeah.
Fallout, but at least it's a fun, different kind of game.
Yeah.
But it's not even that. That's
Yeah,
the problem.
There's plenty of good open worlds that are very strict
Yeah.
in their pathway.
Sure, and they can be really cool.
Yeah. I mean, I think the best thing about Metal Gear Solid 5, I mean, I think the game falls apart in a lot of places, right? But, you know, it to me is the epitome of an open world free-for game with very specific story beats and pathways you have to follow, right? Like, you can approach these camps however you want. Like, the ways you can deal with the enemy in the camps is amazing,
Yeah.
right? But, you know, you still got to hit the story points and do them the way they're written, right?
Yeah.
And
those insane story points.
yeah, I mean, I
Utterly insane.
couldn't deal with it. I couldn't deal with it. You're just like, you finish a mission and then like alien dudes just appear, and like you can't fight them. You're supposed to just run away as fast as you
Are
can.
you talking about the guys who like summon shit out of their hands?
Yeah, and they're like,
yeah.
whoa, you know, and you're like,
They're like phantom people.
like phantom. Yeah, it's just like this is
weird.
weird.
But yeah, I know what you mean. It's almost like Metal Gear Solid 5 is an open world and how you can approach, but it's not really like an open world game in the traditional sense.
Yeah, and so it's like, you know, when you play Fallout, it just seems like this isn't.
It's the worst of both worlds.
It's the
in
worst
Fallout.
of both worlds,
And it doesn't look very good.
and all the jankiness that Skyrim and Fallout 3 provided.
That we forgive them for
That
because
we-
they do so much well.
Yeah, still exists.
Yeah.
Even though this is a very linear, very very manufactured story, right?
Yeah, again, that should be the one thing at least they fixed. But the good news is they fixed it all with Fallout 76.
God, that company is circling the drain right now.
I hope not.
For sure.
Dragon Age 4. Who knows?
Yeah. For sure. That's definitely gonna
It
be
could.
the saving grace.
It could. Who knows? Why not?
It's so funny watching these darling developers just like crash and burn into this
Yeah,
like
it's pretty
modern,
interesting.
because it just seems like none of them can like retain it
Except Nintendo.
except Nintendo, like, right?
For
It's
like 40 years.
It's crazy, isn't it? That like Nintendo seems like the only ones that can really.
Why do you think that is? Like, all kidding aside, what is that about? Why are they...
Why is Nintendo that way?
Yeah, how are they so consistent when no one else can seem to do that? Like,
I think-
other people will come in lulls, but no one has ever been doing it since day one.
I think Nintendo's genius is that they know video games are toys.
Yeah, I think we've talked about that.
You know what
That's
I mean?
their approach.
Yeah,
And they're,
like it's a toy,
and
It's just supposed to be a fun
cool
toy.
Yeah.
right? And that's why they make. I think Labos are dumb, but it just epitomizes this, like, they're toys.
Yeah.
You can buy these toy accessories, like, and kids. I'm sure kids like Labos, right? Like,
Yeah.
if I was a kid, I'd like a Labo.
Yeah, it's cool.
But you know, it just epitomizes these. They're all toys. Our characters are not sanctimonious. They're not important.
They're not preachy.
Yeah, they're not preachy. We love Mario. Mario's great, but Mario can go to the Olympics or get
Yeah.
beaten up in Smash Brothers, or you know what I mean? Like there's no pretense to these characters.
Totally. Even like the darker stuff is still, they're still in Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Even the darkest stuff Nintendo's done, and it goes to dark places occasionally. It's still, relatively accessible, and
Yeah, Metroid
it's
gets dark in
mitigated by
places.
very
and-
cool stuff. Yeah, Metroid's probably the darkest.
yeah, Zelda gets dark sometimes.
That's all it does.
Majora's is kind of dark.
Majora's Mask is very dark.
Yeah, I can't think of other really first parties that get super dark, but
probably those two would be the Fire Emblem.
Fire
I
Emblem,
guess.
yeah, I was gonna say that
a lot
too.
of people die in
There's
that.
a lot of death in it. But yeah, they view it as a toy, and I think these other companies can't see past their own shit. You know, I mean, especially Bethesda, right? Like, we don't make toys. Yeah,
we make worlds.
Yeah, well, you
make worlds that aren't good anymore.
You can be an artist that makes toys, right? That's
totally.
You know what I mean? Like, I think that's fine. But I think if you told someone at Bethesda, if you told Pete Hines that, hey, you guys make cool toys.
Yeah,
like,
or even Todd Howard would be like, hey.
Yeah, they'd be so offended, right?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's why you can't make things people like anymore, right? And, I think BioWare's in the same boat right now. Man, the news about this, everything you hear about Anthem is it just gets worse. And I can't believe we're still hearing about this game.
Yeah.
And how terrible it is and all the bad things that happen to it.
Yeah, well, this cycles into what we'll talk about in the video. So if you guys should definitely stick around for that because this is going to be a fun conversation.
Yeah, I mean, we can tease it. We're going to talk about the flops, the biggest flops ever.
Yeah, and not just like flops, but recent games, old game. Like, it's going to be a fun little dissection of that, and it should be a lot of fun. So.
Yeah, and I haven't heard any of it. So
yeah,
I told Leo to research a little bit, and I'm not going to look anything up. It was very hard to not Google it.
Bet.
I was very tempted because the worst part was I was trying to think of something, and I'm like, what's the name of that game? Like, there's so many things where I was like, it's that shooter game. I just remember you slide over things. You know what I'm talking about? It was like last gen, and it was a shooter, and it was supposed to be like this movement-based shooter, and it was a terrible flop, and I can remember that, and I'm just like, there's so much that was like, I want to Google it, but I can't even Google it without spoiling it, so I had to stop myself. Yeah,
it'll be a fun conversation, though.
Yeah, I'm excited.
But I guess what I mean is, like, we talk about Fallout, and Anthem, I think, is going to go down in history as like it was pretty extraordinary what happened with Anthem. And we talk about it like it's dead, and I think maybe it is. I don't know. Have you checked in on it? I haven't really followed it.
Well, they had that story talking about how they're going to push back all the content to fix the game.
That's a very bad sign.
Yeah, it's a very bad sign.
It's so obvious they're just like stringing people along until eventually they're going to quietly close it down, and then they'll leave the servers up for 3 years just to say they can, probably be a tax write-off. And then they'll just be like, oh, Dragon Age!
Yeah, it doesn't cost that much to keep games up.
Especially when this few people are playing it.
Yeah, especially when you're not overloading your servers or anything.
Yeah.
It's probably sharing half a server with, I don't know.
With Mass Effect 3
multiplayer, yeah. I didn't even know if Mass Effect 3 had multiplayer. That's why I didn't say it.
It did.
But
Mass Effect 3 did, and so did Dragon Age Inquisition, which is weird.
That is super weird.
It's like a horde mode. And then I guess Andromeda had a pretty extensive multiplayer that I never played.
Yeah, so, it's so funny how these studios can't seem to.
Except Nintendo.
I'm trying to think of another one that's.
I'm sure there are.
I mean, NetherRealm's basically old Midway. But
and NetherRealm just makes Mortal Kombat.
I mean, that just makes Mortal Kombat Injustice.
Good Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Although it's been interesting hearing about all their troubles.
Yeah, like none of this. Well, Naughty Dog's been around.
Yeah, that's true. They've been around 20, 30 years. 97, so 20 years.
I would say they're not the same Naughty Dog, obviously.
No, but they're solid. They have a good track record. I mean, have they ever put out anything bad? I mean, I guess maybe Crash Bandicoot 3 or something, but...
Yeah, but not like...
Nothing bad.
Not real stinkers.
And certainly not recently.
No.
Yeah, because Last of Us is great. Uncharted's great. Even if you don't like it, it's still great. So yeah, they're still out there. Square, though. This Final Fantasy 7 thing, the more I think about it, and I'm playing Final Fantasy 14 a lot right now, and I'm enjoying it. But even so, it's kind of like, this is not the future of video games. What they're doing here.
It's dated. You can see, you can see the flaws in that company.
And in Final Fantasy 14, it's kind of charmingly dated.
Yeah.
And I haven't played 15 again, and I probably will someday, just because I've played so many other ones. But it does not look appealing to me.
It's funny. I like Final Fantasy 14 too, and I didn't think about Square in the Doom that I do now until I played Final Fantasy 14. Like, I kind of was like, oh, they'll be okay. And then you play Final Fantasy 14 and you're like...
14 or 15?
14.
Oh, okay, yeah.
15 is already too far gone. But even after playing 15, I'm like, oh, it was just a bad one, right? But you play 14 and you're like, oh, like, I see what's wrong with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then you look like these games that they're publishing and like, Quiet Man and like...
Quiet Man's on that list. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I figured. That was one of the ones I was going to bring up. But but you're kind of like, oh, they don't get it either. You know, like all these old companies. It's funny, we didn't even plan to talk about this, but all these old companies just can't seem to find their way back.
Except Nintendo.
Except Nintendo.
For whatever reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what about like Japanese companies? Like,
I mean, Capcom's seem to
killing it right
reinvent themselves in a way that
they're kind of a remarkable comeback story, but they've been up and down forever.
I mean, they've had fighting game success forever, but I would say like their portfolio a few years ago was not
like Resident Evil 6 and what else did they even have at that time?
I mean, it's funny. They had this, I think Game Informer did a thing where they went through all of Capcom's kind of releases and, or at least recent. And yeah, until Resident Evil 7, like they were not putting out hits, you know?
Yeah, Resident Evil 7, I guess, was sort of the turnaround.
Yeah, RE Engine really was there. Like,
did you ever play Resident Evil 6?
No.
I played it, and I love Resident Evil.
I can tell you were playing it.
Yeah, I know. But it was so bad I couldn't finish it. And that's saying a lot.
Yeah, because you're a fanboy.
I beat Code Veronica, which I think kind of sucks, even though I got a lot of shit for that. Resident Evil 4 is great. Resident Evil 5, people didn't like. I loved it, even though it's not Resident Evil. Resident Evil 6 is such a piece of shit. It's like, it's a remarkable case study on like how not to make a game. And I was thinking about it recently. I think I'm going to play through it, maybe with cheats, just to like see.
Yeah.
Because to go from that to 7 and then to 2, which is just beautiful masterpiece, I'm kind of curious to see like that's such a success story versus what we're seeing in the opposite direction for so many people.
Yeah, I really need to like easy mode cheats on, go back and
it's
just
so fun to do that.
Burn through some games.
Dude, it's so satisfying. Ever since I discovered that, like, hey, I always want to play this game, but I don't have time. Yeah, you do. Just fucking cheat.
Yeah, just
especially
cheat.
if it's a story-based game. It's so fun to just be OP and you can get through a game in like 8 hours.
Yeah.
And you experience it. And if you want to turn off cheats, you can. It's so satisfying, you guys. It's not a great way to experience a modern game for the first time, obviously. But if it's an old game you always wanted to get to, and it's not the same as watching a Let's Play. It's just not.
Yeah, and if it's
it's fun.
If it's playing with cheats versus not playing at all.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
And if you're playing it, if it is like Dark Souls, maybe that wouldn't be a good way to play it. Depends on the game, I think, in a lot of ways. But if it's a game that's really old, that's so old that it's hard to play, cheats are a great way around that.
I don't think cheating through Dark Souls is bad.
No, it's not that's bad. It just might not be. You might not get the same out of it as you didn't. I just mean, I think it does depend on the game. Cheating at every game wouldn't be as satisfying as cheating at, like, for example, let's say the first BioShock. It's kind of an old game now. Maybe someone thinks it's a little too old, but it's worth it. Getting through there without taking damage just to experience the story and the atmosphere, that'd be a great candidate for it.
Yeah. I think I honestly, you brought up Dark Souls, but I think cheating your way through would be fine.
Yeah, maybe. You know, that was just kind of one that came to mind.
Because honestly, it'll still be hard.
Yeah.
Like, even if you weren't taking damage, it would still be like...
That's true.
Man, this is tough. Like, I can't believe anybody can play this, you know? Because, like, it would almost be harder if you weren't worried about damage, because things would be knocking you over and, like...
Yeah, that's true.
You know, all the time. You'd be like, how does anybody do this? It's like, slowly.
And it wouldn't make killing things easier. No. It would just make you... It would, if anything, it would make it harder.
Even if you did more damage or, like, leveled yourself up to whatever, it would still be hard.
But it's a great way to experience old games. Or like even old RPGs. Like I always wanted to play Chrono Cross, but I never got around to it. And I'll never play it. I don't have time. Just cheat, man. It's fun.
I never played Chrono Cross either.
Okay, well, that's a good example of like one of those games I always wanted to.
I used to love bad RPGs though.
Chrono Cross isn't a bad RPG.
No, I mean, I just used to love PS1 bad RPGs.
Totally. I've been really into that lately.
Like Wild Arms. You ever play Wild Arms?
Yeah, Wild Arms
I used
2.
to love Wild Arms.
It's like
bad.
Weird cowboy.
Yeah, it's a bad game.
All those like shitty Tales games that people like for some reason.
I don't know. They look so bad.
They look bad and they're just so JRPG.
That latest Tales of, was it Vesperia? Perseria.
Where she's all evil, and that was cool.
I watched like a quick play of it. And I didn't know what it was when it turned on. Like it was just looping through my YouTube.
Yeah.
And I thought it was like a fan game.
Really?
Like the art is so bad.
Yeah.
Like there's no word for it other than like it's just not.
It's pretty uninspired.
It's uninspired, right? It's like Ruby. Like you ever seen the anime Ruby?
No.
Oh, it's like Rooster Teeth makes it, and
okay.
It's atrocious. That's better now because they've thrown money into it. But the initial art is just so bad.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of that, where it's just like these flat faces, but not like, almost like they're not 3D. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it was so bad.
Just like small environments. I actually played through a lot of that with cheats. Because I was like, I should play a modern Tales game. And I played, 10 hours. And even with cheats, I was like, I can't. It wasn't actually, the story was kind of interesting. But If we're talking about the same one.
I didn't play it, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter.
Bad.
I guess my point, though, I wouldn't have even played that much if I hadn't been cheating.
Yeah.
So I like to think it was a net positive for that game.
Today we did end up talking about cheats.
Yeah.
We talked
Cheats,
about
mods.
it before, and Leo's like, let's talk about cheats. And I was like, are you some kind of hacker man? But I guess he is a hacker man.
I can't confirm or deny that.
Dang, what a hacker man. I didn't even know. No one told me.
You know what's funny, too, is it's like kind of hard to cheat in old games. Like, how do you even cheat in an old RPG?
You Game Genie, bro.
Yeah, but do you have a Game Genie that you could actually use? I guess if you're using emulators, but even then it gets like, it's not always easy to cheat.
No, you can usually find like mem hacks or something for it.
PC games, it's easy to cheat. Even old ones, it's great.
Yeah, it's great. All right, we should probably wrap it up. I think we're just talking about old games, having a good time.
Thanks for listening to us sort of bounce around, but
yeah, it was fun. So if you want to find us, I would say go to techyad.pizza, but I'm having a domain issue right now.
Well, maybe you guys can check for us.
Yeah, check if it's there.
How about this? Bookmark it and check in the future because it's going to be lit.
But techyad.podcast, that's not what it is.
That probably does maybe exist.
It doesn't. I looked for .podcast. Techyadpodcast.com is our site.
It's brand new. Tony made it. It looks great. It's going to continue to improve.
It looks okay. I'm still working on it. It's a work in progress.
You need a hacker man to help you out.
I do need a hacker man. But that you can find all of our stuff there, all the latest episodes, social links.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I don't have to like read them all off anymore.
No, it's perfect. TechYeahPodcast.com. You can see everything.
TechYeahPodcast.
You really can't talk today.
Yeah, podcast.
Whiskey expert.
Whiskey expert. Whiskey expert.
There you go.
TechYeahPodcast.com. That'll have all the links. You can find us. You can check our social links.
Yeah.
I need to add actually links for the dudes if you want like your Twitter.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah, we should do that.
But like I said, still work in progress. So we really appreciate you guys listening.
Yeah.
We love you. Check out the video and talk to you soon.
Yeah. Take care, guys.